Hey guys, Zero here again. Welcome back to Thoughts on, the show where I talk about media I've consumed recently and the Star Wars retrospective that I'm doing. Today, we're going to be talking about probably the most controversial of the franchise, the Prequel Trilogy. Now, before I get started, I do enjoy these movies. That being said, I'm not going to beat around the bush. They're not good movies. So, debatably, Revenge of the Sith is pretty good, though. They all have problems. I am going to address that, but here's just really quickly. Phantom Menace is not as bad as everybody says. People talk shit about this movie all the time because they were disappointed about Star Wars, whatever. The hate for it has kind of winded down. It's the movie. This one's been out actually now for 20 years. Which is crazy to think about that, like over 20 years ago, I went to see this in the theaters. The one that's actually really bad is Attack of the Clones. It's hard to defend. It's not good. This is the worst Star Wars movie, in my opinion, of all of them. Like, Phantom Menace gets a pass because I do like a lot of the scenes in it. I do enjoy some of the stuff. And also, if you don't like some of the midi-chlorian and other lore stuff that was changed, just watch the Phantom edit version of this. It makes the film better. This one's got no saving, though. This one, the best thing I can say is Obi-Wan's great in it, and the Clone Wars stuff at the end's great. That's about it. Revenge of the Sith is probably the one that people enjoy the most. A lot of people say, like, well, we just want to see it to get it over with, Mr. Plinkett. And some people legitimately don't like this one, but I think this one is actually really good. This one, again, it's still got that badness from these two films, so I can't call it like a classic like I called the original Star Wars movies, but it's much improved. So let's start with Phantom Menace. Just like with the original Star Wars trilogy, I did see all three of these in theaters, and I remember watching this for the first time. When I first saw it, I enjoyed it. This one, I kind of knew I didn't like it that much. And this one, well, this was a unique experience because the ending kind of got spoiled for me. Not that you could really spoil this movie that much. He becomes Darth Vader, oh no. But Phantom Menace I like because it has some pretty good action scenes. Everybody complains about Jar Jar. Everybody complains about midichlorians. Those never bothered me so much because I lived with somebody who was way more annoying than Jar Jar. So Jar Jar was never annoying to me. I didn't really care for him. He was just kind of there. It was just neat to see a different kind of alien. I liked Qui-Gon and seeing young Obi-Wan. I thought that was great. I do enjoy seeing the new worlds like Naboo and all that stuff. And the action scenes. Everybody complains about the end scenes in the pod race. First of all, I think the pod race is exhilarating. I think it's a great action sequence. Taking place on Tatooine. I think that's great. And the end scene with the battle between like the mix of the Gungans, you know, them getting the Viceroy, and the space battle with the ship, and of course the lightsaber duel. That's just as compact with action as the end scene from Return of the Jedi. So if you're going to complain about this, you got to complain about that one too. And some people do. I do like that this kind of expands the Star Wars universe into what happened before the Empire, these movies do. I don't know. I've never hated this one, and I see why people are upset, but I've never hated it. Do I think it's a good movie? Again, I don't think any of these are good movies, but I do enjoy watching these. I've never not enjoyed watching Phantom Menace. And I have owned this DVD since it came out. Like, these are the original releases of these DVDs. I also, one thing to say, and I forgot to mention in the last video, is there's a great documentary that came with that box set called Empire of Dreams, which we will talk about. These three have some great documentaries on them about how these movies were made. And that was kind of my introduction to doing this, like becoming a video editor and stuff, because I got to learn things by watching other people. It's interesting that I come to that. So I do kind of hold these in a special regard as well, which might make me biased, but what Star Wars fan isn't biased? Let's be real. So anyways, I don't think this movie is as bad as everybody says. Give it another, like, I could say give it another watch with a critical eye, but it's not going to change anybody's opinion. I just think this movie is fine. I can put it on anytime. It's great. This one, though, is a little harder to justify. And I actually can't find my copy of this right now. I have it's somewhere. But I'm kind of okay with that. Because Attack of the Clones is really where things get set. And it's mostly because of the love story. Obi-Wan's stuff in this movie is great. The stuff with Jango Fett, great. And like I said, the Clone Wars stuff at the end is great. But all the Anakin and Padme scenes they just drag. It drags this entire film down. I really wish George Lucas had gotten somebody who knows how to write romance to help him with the script on this one, because he definitely doesn't know how. And it's some of the worst clunky dialogue ever. And I don't think the actors in these movies did a bad job. They did the best they could with the material they were given. It should be said that I don't think Jake Lloyd deserves all the hate he gets. I don't think Hayden Christensen deserves it. But Ewan McGregor definitely deserves all the praise as being a young Obi-Wan. I think he did that perfectly. That's one of the shining achievements of this trilogy is Ewan McGregor. But getting back to Attack of the Clones, it's just dragged down by the love story. But saying about Ewan McGregor is why this one is still viewable, because all the stuff with him as Obi-Wan is great. Also, Count Dooku, generally an interesting villain. I'm glad that we got Christopher Lee for those films. I didn't talk about Darth Maul because there's not much to say about him, at least until we get to later movies. He's just kind of a guy who has a double lightsaber. But it's a cool lightsaber fight. All these films have really great lightsaber fights with lots of choreography. Some people hate that, but, they're highly trained Jedi. It makes sense that they would be choreography like or whatever. But this one is probably it's the worst of all the Star Wars movies. This one you can easily skip. You don't need to know any more information in this film that you don't get in these two. So you can actually skip this one. And then Revenge of the Sith is the one that I think it's the one that's the most debated. I think I shudder to call this a good movie, but it's better than the other two. It has a lot of great action, which is good, which shows you the whole war that's going on. It shows you how Anakin becomes Darth Vader. It shows you how the Sith finally make themselves revealed to the universe and take over. I don't want to get into too much about this too. The only thing that I have a problem with is the lightsaber fight at the end. I really wish Darth Vader had gotten his red lightsaber, because it made it really confusing and hard. It's hard to focus on that fight. The other reason why I'm not a big fan of this, the end lightsaber fight in this, is because before the film came out, it was spoiled to me. My brother used to play games on a TV that's sitting right here. Before I did Let's Plays or anything, I used to watch him play games on this TV. We rented Revenge of the Sith, the PS2 game. And if you play through that game, and you do the main story, like don't do the what if scenarios, it ruins the lightsaber fight, because the entire lightsaber fight is in that game. And we've watched it on this small TV like a month before the film came out, or almost a month before the film came out. So when I saw it in theaters, I wasn't as impressed anymore, because I'm like, well, I saw this already. So that kind of ruined it for me, but I still like this film. I still think it's worth a watch. Especially if you're a Star Wars fan. So, in the end, in conclusion, none of these are good movies, but I think this one gets way too much hate. Skip this one, and this one is, if you want to see one movie on how Anakin becomes Darth Vader, just watch this one. But anyways, guys, you know where to find me. Zero Master fan page on Facebook, Zero Master on Twitter. If you want to support me and get early access to videos and a whole lot more, go to patreon.com/zeromaster to support me. And I stream on Twitch Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Anyways, guys, I'll see you on the next of these videos. Take care, and may the Force be with you.